What's up guys, it's your girl Kristen here. Happy New Year, it's 2021 and I'm so excited to continue this journey with you guys. If this is your first time checking me out, make sure you scroll through my channel and see what your girl is about. Hit that subscribe button, especially if you're also an esthetician or a freelancer. Maybe you're somebody who is in beauty school right now or just checking out the industry. This series, especially if you're somebody new who's looking into what an esthetician is, how to become an esthetician, this is going to be super helpful for you. Last video I did it all about my personal journey as an esthetician, my schooling, what I learned in school, how to get your license, about state board. So make sure you watch that. And if you're at the point where you're like, okay, Kristen, like I want to become an esthetician, this is what I want to do, this video is going to be the perfect video for you to watch next. I'm going to be talking about how to find an esthetician program, what you might qualify for as far as financial aid, how to get financial aid. You definitely want to make sure you watch this video because I'm going to be covering a lot of specifics when it comes to finding the perfect program for you, what I personally looked for when it came to schooling. I attended my esthetician program basically tuition free. All I had to pay for was my kit. So I'm going to share with you exactly how I did that. So if you want to know more information, then make sure you continue watching. Lighting switched up here. It's now nighttime. I got interrupted when I was filming and so we're here now, so hopefully you don't mind the change up of lighting, but nonetheless the information is going to be the same. I'm going to dive right into this. I'm going to first start off by talking about what I looked for personally when it came to picking an esthetician program, and then I'm going to get into the financial aid piece. So if you want to hear about that, make sure you watch to the very end, and I'm not just saying that to get more viewing minutes or anything like that. It's really because the information that I have for you is extremely helpful, especially if you're somebody who is going to be on a budget, paying for this all themselves. I mean, I completely was on my own. If you're in that position, I feel you. I've been there and I'm telling you right now that it is so doable. If you have any additional questions throughout the video, make sure you comment down below and I can try to clarify anything. And this is just going to be based off my own personal experience. I did this now going on 4 years ago, so things could have changed since then. I did my best to try to research some things before I recorded this video so that I can be a little bit more up to date with what's going on right now. And with the whole pandemic happening, there's just other things that you might want to consider that I didn't have to consider back in the day. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt. Hopefully this is just one video that you watch out of all your research, but I'm here to just try to help and guide you through the process. So first and foremost, when it came to looking for an esthetician program, I mentioned before I was working a 9-to-5 job, freelancing as well at the same time, and so I wanted to be able to attend a program that was going to be fitting for my lifestyle. First thing that I would say to really consider is the location of your school. I didn't want to commute longer than 10 to 15 minutes from where I live. I'd already narrowed down my options. Right away, just from that group of schools, I went to their website. For me, I'm a huge person on the aesthetics of businesses' websites. And already right off the bat, if your school that you're looking at has a website that's just not helpful and unorganized, that might be a reflection of the school. Read about their school, go through all the pages, look at the tuition, look at the programs they offer, look at how many hours you're going to be committing to. Like I mentioned in the first video to this series, was each state has a different requirement. In California, it's 600 hours. Just get yourself really informed with what the school you're looking at is offering. I will say, when you're researching these schools and you might see a bad review or this or that, I wouldn't be too picky because guess what? Your school is really only supposed to help you pass state board. If you really only have a handful of schools to pick from, then that's what you have to work with. Unless you're willing to up and move and go somewhere else, then those are the options that you have. So I went and I looked at all the websites. Each website is going to have email or phone number that you can call or contact. I spoke directly with the person handling admissions. That's going to be usually your point of contact. They're going to be able to give you all the information that you're curious about, like tuition, financial aid, what the curriculum is, what book they use, how much the kit is. And then from there, I suggest for sure scheduling a campus tour. But like any other place, you want to see if it's clean. For me too, when I went and toured it, I wanted to see if the students were happy. I wanted to see if they were friendly, maybe meet some of the teachers. All about vibes. And when you go to a place in person, you're able to pick up on the energy that you get from there. And I think that that's probably a huge part in your decision. If I'm going to be somewhere for 7 to 8 months, I really need to enjoy being there. I would maybe talk to them as well about any additional training that they have available. I know at my school, they had options to get lash certified. They had a Brazilian waxing class, they had sugaring, different skincare and cosmetic brands came in and they talked about different topics, different career choices in the aesthetics field. I'm glad that my school did that, and to be honest, I didn't even know that they did that until I actually attended. But to be honest, like I said, I didn't go into it super picky. I really just wanted to get my license at the end of it. One of the key factors that I don't think I've heard any other person recommend or talk about is the school's pass and fail rate. Each school is going to have their own reputation. Most of the schools are using the Milady textbook as their curriculum, and they're going to teach you the basics. But what I really wanted to know is the school that I went to, how many students actually passed the exam. So I'll make sure I link this down below, and I'm sure in all the states they have this information available. But I'm going to do a little screen recording here so you can actually see what I'm looking at. But it takes to a page that says examination results by school. They actually let you look at scores and pass rates for each school in your state. And I'm looking at the California one. And so you can look at the written exam and you can look at the practical exam. So you can actually go and find your school. It says pass percentage, fail percentage. And so to me, if a school has a really good pass percentage, then that's going to bring that school up more to the top of my list when I'm looking at them. I would say if it's above 80%, that's a pretty good rate. If the school that you're really interested in does have a really bad pass rate, then I would just bring it up to the administration office and say, hey, you know what, I noticed that you guys had kind of a so-so pass and fail rate. I just kind of wonder if you're aware of that and maybe why that is and how you're choosing to address it at this point. You can't always blame the school. Sometimes it is the people themselves. I mean, I hate to say it, but just bring it up. Bring it up at your tours if you do notice that the school that you're checking out has kind of a low pass rate. So something to consider, I think, at this point with the pandemic happening is I would ask the school that you're looking at how they're approaching the whole virtual schooling, or if they're offering virtual only or partial virtual. For me, I honestly feel like if I was in your position at this point, I would not want to be somewhere that just does only virtual and is making me work on a doll head the whole time, because that to me is just, you're not getting the real experience that you should be getting. Also, when it comes to considering the schools, there are private and there are public schools. The school that I went to, Advanced Beauty College, it's technically a private school, but they have the option for students to attend through Saddleback College, which is a community college, and they had kind of a different almost set of rules for those students versus private. The main difference was that the private students kind of were given a little bit more leniency when it came to attendance. They got a little bit more of a robust kit, so theirs came with like an LED light, more products than we did. There's a little bit more perk when you're a private student, but I wouldn't say there's a huge difference. I got the same information. I don't see any problem with you choosing to attend a public versus a private esthetician program. Now I'm gonna get into the financial side of it. So whether you decide to go to a private school or a public school, each school is gonna have a financial aid contact, someone who's going to specifically handle that case for you. They are going to have the most knowledge when it comes to that. I'm going to tell you what my experience was, and maybe this can help you ask the right questions. I mentioned before, I have my bachelor's degree, and what I learned when I was researching esthetician programs is that esthetician school is considered undergraduate education. So undergraduate means your first 4 years of college, and then anything past that is going to be graduate. So esthetician is just a certification. When it comes to the college terminology, it's just a certification. Because it's considered an undergrad program, you need to consider that if you already have your bachelor's degree and you already took out financial aid, you might not have access to as much monies anymore. You might be wondering, how do they determine my financial aid? How do they determine my eligibility, how much money I get? And so the way that they were able to tell what I could get was through my FAFSA, a free application for federal student aid. You want to make sure you do this at the beginning of the year, before the year that you plan to attend aesthetic school. Say for example, if you want to attend your esthetician program in the fall of 2021, you would need to file right now. In the state of California, the deadline for it is March 2021. I can link down below an article that I found that shows pretty much each state's deadline, but you want to make sure you submit that application, because what it's going to do is it's going to ask for your income, it's going to ask for your family size. Also, what is a huge determining factor for this is whether you are still being filed on your parents' taxes or under your own taxes. I was already out of college, I was filing my own taxes, so this might be a little bit different for you if you are somebody who's coming right out of high school and you're still with your parents. I'm gonna make sure I link this article as well, and it just talks about how the federal student aid amount is determined. And to keep it simple, they take your income, they look at the cost of the attendance for the program, and then based off your income, they decide how much you would be responsible for paying, and then they will give you the difference of the cost of attendance and what you are responsible for paying, and they'll give you an amount that you can take out as a loan or a grant, depending on your status. That amount of money is what's going to be used to help you pay for the program. I had already gotten my 4-year degree, so what I didn't know is that there's actually a cap to how much undergrad money you can get. And I had already reached that cap. I was looking at paying all of this out of pocket, which was really discouraging. I know some of you guys might be in that position where you're like, oh my gosh, like how am I gonna afford this? 10, 15K is a lot of money. It is, don't get me wrong. But I will tell you that 10, 15K compared to 30, 40K for a 4-year program that I didn't even use the degree from, it's not terrible. You're gonna need to take out money for your education. That's just how it is in America, unfortunately. You're gonna need to invest in your future. I found out that I wasn't eligible for any money. What I did find out that I qualified for, which was a huge surprise to me, I actually had went into the counseling office at Saddleback College, and I was talking to them about my course load and everything, and I was ready to pay for something. She's like, oh, it looks like you qualified for the waiver. And I was like, what waiver? And it turns out it was this waiver called, I had to look it up because I didn't remember. So at the time it was known as the Board of Governors Fee Waiver, which now it's called the California College Promise Grant. And what I would do is I would just talk to your financial aid person at the school you're interested in, and I would say, hey, is there any sort of fee waiver program that you offer? And this, I'm talking about community colleges or public programs. Private schools usually have their own type of financial aid programs. I found out I qualified for this California College Promise Grant, and it actually completely waived the tuition. All I had to pay for was my kit, which was about $1,800. Make sure you look into that. Ask those questions about any sort of tuition waiver programs in your state. If you're attending a private school, they can still accept FAFSA. They'll usually tell you you need to submit your FAFSA, and then you select the school that you're interested in. They actually send your application and information to that school, and then they can pull up your information and tell you what you qualify for. Most of the time you're able to at least get some sort of assistance. You might have to pay it back, but usually student loans are fairly low in interest rates. There's a lot of options out there. I just want to encourage you not to feel discouraged or intimidated by this, because it's a part of investing into your education. If you're somebody who's interested in working for yourself and opening up your own business, then you're gonna have to have some skin in the game, and you can't be afraid to take out a loan or invest money into these things. For me, I was looking at having to do a personal loan if it came down to it. Local credit unions are probably your best bet when it comes to taking out loans, because credit unions aren't these big giant banks. Their interest rates are usually a lot lower. Their terms are a lot more flexible. That's probably the best advice that I could give to you. The financial aid person that you're talking to at your school is going to have a lot more information that I can give you. But I just wanted to share with you my experience so that you can kind of know what questions to ask. I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you have any additional questions, go ahead and comment down below so that I can try to help you out. Best of luck to you guys as you search for your esthetician programs, and make sure you continue to do your research. In the next video in this series, I'm going to be talking about how I found my first job as an esthetician, what to look for, how to be a good candidate. I'm going to be talking about all of those things. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. I have some other really cool videos coming your way too. So stay tuned, and I love you guys. Stay safe. I look forward to meeting more of you guys, to hearing more about your success stories. I'll see you guys next Sunday. Stay in touch with me on Instagram, and of course, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.